the Commonwealth of Virginia as its former governor and his wife are found guilty of corruption.
We're very disappointed, but we're not deterred. This fight is a long way from over.
We have live team coverage from all over the state on today's guilty verdict.
5 weeks of testimony and pictures and courtroom bombshells, all of it has led to today's verdict.
And the jury found former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell guilty of 11 counts, his wife Maureen guilty of 9 counts.
Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Jeff Goldberg has been in Richmond for this entire trial. He knows the ins and the outs of this case up and down, and Jeff joins us now live. Jeff, tell us what you saw there in the courtroom and the emotions on the McDonnell's faces when that verdict was read.
Well, Leon, an absolutely amazing moment to witness in that courtroom. As the verdict was being read, Governor Bob McDonnell sobbing, his head in his hands, leaning back in his chair. The McDonnell family taking up the first 2 rows of that courthouse, crying almost uncontrollably, you could say. And each time the word guilty was read, you could hear an audible gasp from family members in the first 2 rows. It was just stunning to watch the weight of the reality hitting everybody in the McDonnell family, particularly Bob McDonnell. It took 7 men and 5 women 3 days to deliberate this case, and now Governor Bob McDonnell becomes the first governor in the history of Virginia to not only be charged, but convicted of a crime.
Anything to say to the people of Virginia?
Leaving court with his son Bobby by his side, a stunned Governor Bob McDonnell says only this after being found guilty of corruption.
My trust remains in the Lord.
After speaking with reporters extensively before and after each day of the trial, at this moment, the governor's final words for the day are for the reporters themselves.
It's okay. Thank you all for the way you've handled this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
The former governor was found guilty of all 11 corruption charges, including conspiring to defraud voters and fraud charges. Maureen McDonnell was found guilty on 9 counts, 8 corruption charges, and a charge of obstructing a grand jury in relation to returning clothes Johnny Williams bought during their New York City shopping spree. Both McDonnells were found not guilty of falsifying loan applications. They were accused of using the governor's office to promote Johnny Williams' product, Anatoblock, in exchange for nearly $180,000 in gifts and loans.
I think this case sends an important message. The FBI will engage and engage vigorously to any credible allegation of corruption.
In a trial that lasted 5 weeks, the personal and at times embarrassing details of the McDonnell's marriage were laid bare for all to see. Defense attorneys arguing the workaholic absent governor could not possibly have conspired with his erratic, difficult wife, who they say had a crush on the charming and slick vitamin salesman. But piece by piece, prosecutors methodically presenting a case of corruption and bribery, that the husband and wife were working hand in hand to sell the prestige and power of the governor's office, to climb out of an enormous hole of debt, and to get a taste of the good life.
I'm obviously very disappointed that we couldn't bring this home for our client today, and we will appeal.
Is there anything you would send different?
I can't think of it right now.
We have not heard from Maureen McDonnell throughout this trial. Today was no different. Also, no comment from jurors who were let out of a back door here at the courthouse. The McDonnells could be facing decades in federal prison. A sentencing hearing is set for January 6th. Live in Richmond, Jeff Goldberg, ABC 7 News.
Okay, Jeff, thank you very much. So Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe released a statement on the guilty verdict.
And he said, quoting here, "I am deeply saddened by the events of the trial that ended in today's verdict and the impact it has had on our Commonwealth's reputation for honesty and clean government."
McAuliffe says he and his wife will pray for the McDonnell family and everyone affected by the trial. Reaction to today's verdict stretches beyond Richmond.
Our Roz Plater talked with Northern Virginians, and she continues our team coverage live from Arlington tonight. Roz, what did you hear out there?
Well, you know, we're catching people just as they get off the Clarendon Metro here, most of whom had not heard about the verdicts, but overwhelmingly people told us they were certainly not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised at the verdict. I'm very disappointed because I thought Governor McDonnell was a bright spot for this country. Well, I think they're both culpable. So, you know, you get what you deserve.
You're not surprised?
No, I don't think so, no. Sets a precedence, right? So that's good.
All right.
People should watch themselves, right?
I'd be shocked if it weren't overturned on appeal. I feel bad for all involved because I mean, I know the McDonnell family a little bit, and it's, you know, they're not bad people. They're good people, and he's an honest guy. It sounds like this one.
Now, what we heard repeatedly, even from people who thought that the jury got those verdicts right, is a sense of sadness that this is now the legacy of Virginia's former first couple. We're live in Arlington. I'm Roz Plater, ABC 7 News.
All right, thank you, Roz. Once again, the McDonnells will be sentenced on January 6th in Richmond, and our coverage not over yet tonight. Coming up at 5:30, Suzanne Kennedy was there in Richmond when Bob McDonnell left the courtroom today, and she's going to join us and tell us what the feeling was like as he rushed out. And for more continuing coverage, always go to WJLA.com.